Welcome to Work App Home, where we build iPhone apps and Android apps with no coding, no programming, easy, intuitive drag and drop, only $60 a year or 400 bucks for life to build unlimited apps. That is workapp.home.com. That's APP as an app, as you see in the green letters on the screen here. So now to get you started, what we're doing today is we are going to walk you through the steps on how to submit an app in the App Store. And so for the iPhone apps, and we will be getting to Android apps on the next part two of this year's session. And so you're only allowed to have two certificates at a time. I'm going to show you how to revoke a certificate first before we get into it. These certificates, you go up here, hit revoke, delete, revoke, and that's it. Takes it off the screen. Now, reason why I'm showing that is because after you build so many apps that you're going to want to be able to start revoking these apps and stuff. So you could submit new ones because you can only have two certificates at a time. I don't know why. It's Apple's rules, and that's how it is. So to get you going here, um, let's go to production. And reason why you don't want to do development. Development is for something else, but you want to do production. Development is if you're just testing the app on your iPhone. Production is for having it for your um, to distribute mass production, basically, to everybody in the world. Um, but to get to the point here, you're wondering how I got to this page here. There's iOS certificates for Apple. You could type in Apple developer accounts, certificates, iOS certificates, things like that there in your Google search, and you could be able to find to get to this portal here. You will find it actually a lot quicker after you start book after you go through the steps in setting up an Apple account, which is $99 a year, by the way, to keep your app in the App Store. If you stop paying it, they will take your app out of the App Store until you pay it again. And sometimes you have to resubmit the whole process all over again of submitting everything to get your apps and stuff. The process that I will be showing you here in a few minutes. Now, let's get going here. This is your little plus sign here on the screen. This year, after you go to production, you go to plus. And the plus here will make it so that you can be able to start adding a certificate. Now, I'm not doing development. I'm not doing push notifications. I am doing an App Store ad hoc. And that's for production, as you see right here. And then I scroll down to the bottom. Nothing else I need to know. Let's hit continue. And then continue. And then we choose a file, which we're going to have to get out a keychain. Now, in order to submit an app for Apple, you must have some sort of Macintosh computer. Doesn't matter if it's MacBook Pro or Mac Mini or whatever it may be. I started off with a Mac Mini before I ended up getting a MacBook Pro. I do really enjoy both of them. And so let's start off by going to Keychain Access. Keychain Access makes it so that once you're signing the certificate yourself. So I click My Certificates right here, and then I click in the blank spot down here. And you do this when you're getting a signed certificate yourself, so it doesn't try to tie it into any of these certificates up here that I've already had distributed. Then you go up to the top corner where it says Keychain Access and scroll down to where it says Certificate Assistant and then request a certificate from a certificate authority. And then I go there and then it's going to pull that up. I'm submitting this one on behalf of a client. And we go to common names. Let's call this here um, global com repair. And so from here, I don't want to email this here. I want to save to disk. Then I hit continue. And now when we go to this here, we save it to the client's disk. Now, if we don't have a certificates folder, which I have right here titled CER, I save it in there. And I hit done. And now that's it for the keychain access. Now I go in here and I find that file where I just had it at, where I just saved it to. I generate it with it, creating a signed certificate for myself to create a basic certificate. Now, once you do this, we're going to go to the next step of creating a P12 for it. And it does take a second for it. You will notice that depending on how fast your computer is or how fast your internet is, it will take a few seconds for this here to load this up, and it'll give you something to download. And here we go. Here's the download. I download that. And let's see where that is at. Now, this is where I want it saved to. Now, I'm going to open up my downloads, and here is my download. Drag and drop it in here, and there it is. Now, with this, I double click it. It opens it back up in Keychain and goes right to the top here. As you see, here it is. Now, I want you to click on this, not this one right here with the key, but the iPhone distribution, then right click it, and then export to iPhone distribution. And once you export that, it'll give you, ask you where you want to save it to. Let's go back to where I had it at, or the other ones. And let's save this P12. And then it's going to ask me for password, and then it's going to ask me to enter the password of my MacBook here. So let's do, and there it is. And I don't need this here anymore. And there's my P12. So now you see the P12 on here. Now let's go to the next step of getting the ID, because you will need an ID to pair this up for the provisioning portal. So you go to App IDs right here, go up to plus, and I type in the ID of this. I type in global com repair. And I want, and this is a reverse bundler, com dot global com repair.ios. Now this here is called the reverse.com, or the reverse domain name. So if your domain name was, say, simonsays.com, you would put com.simonsays. And then you put whatever you want after that. Now, if you're building an iPhone, you type in iPhone. If you're building an Android, or an iPad, you type in iPad. And so, yeah, just put iOS. As for me, that's a reminder. If it's an iPhone, I'll put iPad if it's an iPad for myself. And each one of these bundlers will be different. You want, if you try to use the same name again, Apple will let you know that you have used the same name as a COM ID bundler. So make sure it's tailored to your .com, and maybe add a few extra things in there if you've already used your .com. So, and then you don't have to worry about none of this, because none of this will apply to what we are doing here today. We're just getting a basic certificates for a basic app. We don't need no push notifications. We're not doing no in-app purchases, any of that there. And we hit submit. And from this point on, we just, I think we hit done, and that's it. And then we go down to provisioning portal, which we grab that. Hit done. And now we go down to provisioning portal, you see right here where the mouse is hovering at, and go to distribution, not development. Development's for the phone. Distribution is for mass communication. So we hit distribution. And I see I have an invalid one here. Let's go down here and delete it, because I revoked that certificate earlier, as you've seen. So it's going to have a certificate down here that's no longer valid. And from this point, we're going to go, it's still loading. Okay, up here in the corner, we're going to hit plus. And I want an App Store distribution right here, you see. Continue. And then it's going to pull up my ID or all the IDs. And we're doing the global com. Continue. And from here, yes, this is it. It'll be the top one. It's always the top one. If you have a couple of them that you're doing, it'll be the latest one that you just got them filling in the blanks for. And the name of this, we'll just call it Global Com Repair Generates. And from here, we download this. Save. And we'll see it right here in my downloads. Here's the provisioning portal. I put it back into my file. Now you're going to want to categorize all these in one file here, the certificates, because if you don't, you get lost and you'll try to figure out where it's at, and then you don't know what is what. So now that's done. I hit done, and we're done here. So next, what we're going to be doing is setting up the actually the iTunes Connect, and we'll be doing that in part 2 of our video on how to submit an app to Apple. So thank you very much for being part of our session here. And we do look forward to having you on our website here, workappHome.com, creating unlimited apps for only $60 a year or $400 for unlimited apps for life. So you have a wonderful day, and we look forward to working with you and helping creating the success you've always been looking for.